After you've learned how to play a melody, to hear it and find it on the guitar, the very first thing towards moving into improvisation is what I call phrasing the melody. This is something that many singers employ, whether they realize it or not. And that is, they treat the melody in this way. They don't add any notes or take away any notes from the melody, but they simply change the value of the notes, so that maybe where you had several notes go by in a certain meter, you've substituted different values. Maybe you're playing some of them faster and some of them slower, but it ends up that it fills the same amount of measures. I'll show you what I mean. Here's an example. There's a melody that I'm going to show you now, and there are 3 phrase variations under it. And I'm going to play the melody, and then I'm going to play each of the variations as is shown. And you'll notice that all of them fill up the same amount of time in the measures, that they start at the same time and they end at the same time, and there are no extra notes. And the only difference between the original melody and the variations are the change in note value or the time value of the notes. So I'm going to begin, and instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to just simply count 3, 4, and I hope that you understand that it's 3, 4 of a bar that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4. This gives us more time for more information in this course. So I'm going to start now. 3, 4. Now that's the melody. Now here is the first variation, and notice it almost sounds the same, but it's phrased different. 3, 4. Here is the second variation. 3, 4. And here is the third and final variation. 3, 4. Now, if you listen very carefully, and also if you look at the music, and perhaps even play along if you can, while you're looking at the music, you can hear that subtle difference in the time. If you weren't paying attention, they would almost seem identical. But as you begin to probe and listen, you'll find that there is a considerable difference just from the phrasing. And there are any number of ways that you can phrase a passage. It depends on your own personal taste, your discernment, and what you think is appropriate for the music. So make up your own phrasing to any songs. Now, I'm going to play a melody for you now and play several ways of phrasing it that should show you that you never hear anything but the melody, but you'll hear me playing it in many different ways. And this is one way to play a melody and to, at the same time, exhibit your own originality, your own individuality. The question comes up quite often, why do they phrase the melody? It's to keep it from sounding square. Well, why is it written square? Square meaning that it has no syncopation to it. Why is it done this way? It's done this way because many publishers write sheet music, and they write the sheet music in such a way that it can be read very easily without having offbeats, without having syncopation. And when it's written in this square manner, there is a greater chance that more people can play it, and therefore more people will buy the sheet music because there is the believable hope they'll be able to play the music. But once you get the music and you read through the squareness of the melody, it's up to you to find your own phrase variations. And this will allow you to play the melody, but as you do it, you pump some kind of life and vitality into it. Even though you haven't changed one melody note, by staggering the time, you phrase it and create more interest, plus exhibit your own individuality.